We are back after APK take on Afreeca. So, it was a very close game and not an easy game for both teams. So, what's your thoughts on the draft, Midori and Lyra? I want to talk about Afreeca's composition. They really prefer Rumble as a support. Especially before 6-minute mark of the game, they really enjoy going in to invade the red buff and also go proactive with Ashe. The Spirit was also really good at marking Flawless, so they were doing really great job snowballing around the bot lane, but there were also some of the blunders. With Spirit, they were always being so proactive in terms of the vision control. However, after one death on Spirit, actually, Afreeca kept rolling up, making more mistakes. So around Flawless, APK also managed to come back. Overall, APK and Afreeca, there were so many mistakes in terms of skills or just letting the opponent take any points. Feels like both teams were not really heads up to any kind of important plays, but in the end, Afreeca managed to break the nexus. So the final team fight decided the winner. The most important thing is that there were so many mistakes, but still, I think the positioning of the damage dealers, mid laners, and the bot laner is so important. APK, both the damage dealers were in a position where the other teammates could watch them. So Mystic doing damage all throughout the sustained team fight, because Afreeca actually, Ashe had a very important role to do a DPS damage in a sustained team fight, and he executed in the right timing. However, Kaney was actually afraid he got zoned out too far, so the positioning resulted in the loss of the final team fight and losing the game. Kaney was not kiting nor contributing in that team fight. But also, Victor just was not able to do any damage in that team fight, but at the same time, Fly was also cut out in the beginning of that fight. He got engaged. However, Mystic did not stop doing damage. He always kept on autoing, and also with GP's ultimate, Afreeca didn't really stay afraid. They were really proactive and decisive in that very important moment. So they all need to work on for damage dealers to figure out the best positioning in team fight. Afreeca managed to keep focused till the late game. So let's see who's the POG for this game number 1. Mystic, who did tons of damage on Ashe, picked up the POG. Because the last team fight was so decisive, Mystic got the MVP or the POG. Because Mystic also made some of the mistakes all throughout the game. Watching LPL games, it's actually really common to the final team fight winner to distort the nexus, but Mystic really proven himself how AD carries have to do in the very late game team fight. They always have to stay focused on the skill shot, dodging the skill shot, and also doing all the damage on his own. Even though he made some mistakes and there were some blunders in the early and mid games, Mystic knew how to do damage in the late game, which is most critical. So Afreeca, APK, both teams need to improve on their performance upcoming game. So I guess there must be a lot of feedback going back and forth. So let's check out for game number 2.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK Spring 2020. We're up to game 2 between APK and Afreeca Freecs, and I want to caveat this one because yes, congratulations first to Mystic for picking up that MVP. But when it comes to APK versus almost anyone, having a look at feedback for this game is sort of comparisons between regions and things like that. But when teams are so split as far as skill disparity, and APK barely promoted themselves into the LCK and are a bottom-rung team by all means. Trigger is going to be coming in here. Substitution for Hybrid. Hybrid did not have the greatest performance on a 5-0-1 Aphelios as the game drew on. And I think I can understand this pickup. Yeah, Aphelios? Aphelios?
I thought it was Janna.
Well,
sorry.
I mean,
I
auto-attacked about as many times as a Janna would.
I'm not sure about that, actually. I think she would have woven some more.
The auto-attack threading, certainly important here. We're going to check out Mia, of course, formerly sub for KT, was behind Mata on that roster. Mia has been subbing quite a lot since that time, but hasn't actually had much game time. So interested to see what he's going to be able to do here with a new and improved bottom lane, hopefully, for APK Prince. Let's see whether it's going to be enough to get them across the line as we hop into Champion Select for game number 2.
Let's also see if Afreeca has anything actually special going on here.
An Ornn ban.
With what?
I think an Ornn ban is...
Just pick Ornn.
Oh, or pick it.
Ornn is B1able.
Actually, just B1 for
you know what? You know what I want to... You know what I just want to see?
What do you want to see?
I just want to see... Just ban Aphelios MF.
Whoa.
And then see everyone's brains break.
That's crazy. You can't ban him. It's impossible to ban him. The only AD carry you can ban is Lucian. You know that.
Ban Aphelios and MF.
No. You're crazy. You got to ban Pantheon. It's so important.
Just go for the triple AD ban. MF, Senna, Aphelios. Let's have an honest game of League of Legends.
All right. Well, I mean, I think that you're insane.
Okay.
Can't do that.
Afreeca banning away the Qiyana as well as the Pantheon. Now, it's strange that they don't want to play it. It is a lane neutralizer, and it does just... His E is really gross.
Yeah, and
his E is so gross.
Fly has been playing a hell of a lot of it. As you can see, Afreeca, they don't want APK to have the flexibility of the Rumble, and they want to first pick the Aphelios, and they will be able to do exactly that, unless set is going to be the decision. The B1 set plague has been upon us since week 1, but it is going to be avoided as the Aphelios is, like we expected, locked in.
I would really like to see APK get baited here, and okay, well,
Good God. That was just the instant Soraka. Maybe that's why Mia's coming in. Maybe we can flex the Soraka a little bit better now with Mia on the roster instead of Secret. I don't know.
I don't know if Keen will try any of the Soraka counters here. And so, typically you can play Mage's top lane into her. You can play Tryndamere into her as well. So you can take Syndra top lane, you can take Azir top lane.
You're a big fan of Tryndamere at the moment, aren't you?
I am a big fan of Tryndamere. I think Tryndamere is very hard, both individually for the player to pull off. I think that a lot of people see him on the surface as just being a right-click champion, but to get his abilities off, to actually utilize his W well, to space on him correctly, to do his cancels and everything, it does take a lot of skill. And also, the Undying Rage at the absolute last second to get full value.
Timing on Undying Rage is very, very important.
All right, well, APK is actually taking away one of the Soraka counters as Afreeca now picking Victor. And it's always a sad time in the meta when the stat checkers like Victor do end up resurfacing, as Irelia now is going to bite the dust. Irelia, another champion that if she clips Soraka with the E, can just try to all-in her.
Yeah, and you can sort of pretty comfortably throw that one out from range as well, so you can understand why it's something that Ixu Soraka would want to avoid. Showing us more and more that this is most likely going to be heading top lane, which is something that we've been waiting for Ixu to play for quite some time. So far, only Cubase in the LCK has picked up the top Soraka. Rakan going to be banned here, which is interesting. Wonder what Trigger is actually going to be picking up here in the AD carry position. Still not entirely sure how this composition is going to come together in the end. Aatrox going to leave.
Aatrox is a very bizarre ban because unless they're suspecting that Victor would go top lane, but even still Syndra would be fine against Aatrox, and Soraka hard counters Aatrox not only in lane, but in team fights. Plays the silence beneath him.
Yeah.
While he's trying to do his fancy footwork as...
That's a Morgana.
That's a Morgana. Yeah.
And you've been calling for Morganas, but just not necessarily in this game.
Definitely not in this game. The enemy has such long range, and now the Morgana's coming in blind.
Well, Spirit's got a big grin, so I wonder what that means. Is we did also get Mystic subbed out. SS going to come in. We've had this a couple of times, actually, where a player gets the player of the game and then gets subbed out. Rewarded with a rest, I guess. As the Lee Sin is locked. And Orianna now being looked at, as it is going to be a mage top lane matchup if this Soraka is indeed heading top lane. And otherwise, it's going to be a Soraka Morgana bottom lane, which I don't know about.
Oh, Pyke.
Oh, we doing Morg Pyke. We are.
Morgana Pyke is going to be the bot lane.
Now, this is one that was popularized by Bang and Effort a while ago. Was certainly a disgusting combo when they were utilizing it to its full effect. Excited to see how it's going to go here against the Aphelios Yuumi on the bottom side of the map. Basically making Double S a machine gun turret monster by himself, just with his little cat on a book behind him.
And the other thing about this is the team composition for Afreeca. They are approaching the Soraka with the mage up in top lane, but we're going to have to see how far ahead they can end up going. Now, APK with the hyper carry in the Soraka for the later stages of the game, they are set to do okay, but one of the things that's scary is there's not reliable sustain damage. They're very combo based.
Oh yeah.
And when you have that with Soraka, it sort of detracts from her value, because then you're always playing around your cooldowns on the Morgana, on the Syndra, on Pyke and whatnot, and also there's not very good targets for Soraka to be healing.
Yeah, I actually think this game is going to revolve around what Mia can do on this Pyke.
Yeah.
I think the Pyke is going to be extremely important, making sure you can get to that first pick-off, and this composition picks really well. They've got Dark Binding, they've got Scatter the Weak, they've even got the Silence to put under it if the Soraka is going to be there. Getting that first kill is a possibility, and then moving towards those resets with the Death from Below is going to be a chance too. So let's see whether they can achieve it as we get onto the Rift for game number 2. Afreeca now with some blue shorts on, and APK trying to draw this series out after a very disappointing game number 1 that honestly was all but in the bag for this squad.
As it looks like the Prince of Persia skin is the skin of choice for Mia. Do you ever play that game?
Prince of Persia?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, I played the original.
Sands of Time?
I'm a boomer, remember? Sands of Time? What? No.
What? That one was good.
I played the OG.
I'm done with
when you were falling down onto like pits of spikes and you had about 3 pixels to your character.
Okay.
Spectacular. That was when the head of your main character is like 4 pixels large. Beautiful times. Just beautiful times.
You ever play Baldur's Gate?
I did.
You
Baldur's
are
Gate
ancient.
Baldur's Gate 2.
You're actually
that was
ancient.
really, really good. Baldur's Gate 2 just felt like you were playing D&D.
You are a fossil.
Do you mind? I was actually very young when I played Baldur's Gate, so I didn't really get it, to be honest. But I enjoyed it anyway. Well, Spirit going to come down and look for this red buff. Ixu going to collect a bit from him, but not too much.
A little surprising. Thought he would add a little bit more damage, but perhaps the minions are going to end up dying. It would have been the funniest thing he smited, and then for some reason Soraka queued.
Yeah.
Just took the red.
He was already in lane as Double S misses 2 melee creeps. Pulls out the Severum and then wonders what the heck he's supposed to do now with no lane partner, really, and no buttons to press, apart from switching my guns, which he is doing a lot. The APM on this Aphelios level 1 is so high.
He has a lot of dexterity. He's very deft.
Yeah.
You
Dexterous.
know? Yes.
Wow. Wow. Look at that APM.
I mean,
what
this guy
monster.
is doing a lot of workouts right now.
Yeah.
And so we have to hope that his diet is correct, not just for him, but also his cat.
Yeah, that's true.
And you can see that as soon as I talked about a diet, which was food, the cat came out.
It was like, oh,
Yep.
wait.
I don't think that's really a coincidence. I'm just throwing that out there.
If it was my cats, it would be if you had have said the word mama, which means treat in Korean.
Okay.
Our cats lose their minds as soon as you say that. So that might have been what Double S was mentioning there in that lane as Keen going to pick up the cannon creep. Nicely done. See how this one goes is Keen so far doing okay here in this lane. Staying ahead in farm by just a little bit as the Bone Skewer goes wide. And Trigger just continuing to try and pick up as many minions as he can. Finally, Double S now with some opportunities to actually clear out some of these minions. See which weapon he's going to get next. Is great interrupt there on the you and me. As the Tormented Soil comes in as well. Definitely a neutralizing lane is the Morgana Pike, but not necessarily a hard smash lane. You know, this is more, we're going to clear out the minions very comfortably, and the Pike can roam, get skirmishes happening in the early stages, that sort of thing. So the Aphelios should still be relatively fine as far as scaling towards later stages, even if right now it looks like Trigger does have a huge lead. As Ixu's got to hit some of these Qs if he wants to get his health back. Silence comes out onto Keen, but Keen was one of our OG Victor top players. See whether the build is going to remain the same. Do you think that this is just going to be full AP Victor?
Yeah, I imagine that this will end up being full AP Victor. There's no real reason for him to go AD with the Iceborne Gauntlet and then try to go into the weird off-tank Victor. I think that would be a very poor choice. And so far up here, I think he's doing pretty okay. Ixu has an okay amount of HP in mana remaining, but remember, Keen has teleport, whereas Ixu does not. Although Ixu is keeping up in the CS department relatively well.
Yep. Ixu probably going to be a bit of a wish bot towards the later stages of the game anyway. Really excited to see whether APK can actually make these team fights work, because they will be exciting if we can get the death from belows. We can have the wish utilized at the right timing and carry them through that way, but it will require way more coordination than they had in their last game, which is where I'm drawing some worries for this squad. So they weren't necessarily able to start fights effectively. Follow-ups weren't there. Issues with Call of the Forge God, things like that, when they did have a composition that was pretty easy to play. This will require a little bit more, as Mia's going to get interrupted there by the Prowling Projectile. Paulus is here towards the bottom side. You can see Afreeca with a lane reset. Should be all right.
Well, everything else is, we're just sort of playing ping pong, so.
Hey, do you know what the good news is?
What?
We start with the Cloud Drake, so we're guaranteed to not have that Dragon Soul.
I got some good news today. I'd like to share with you, yes.
Oh yeah, what's that?
There is English subtitles of Parasite playing again in CGV.
Oh,
I haven't seen
it. Got re-released after its Oscars success?
It got re-released with English subtitles at select CGVs.
That's really cool. As Spirit gets booped back, might actually have to flash as Mia goes over early as Fly comes in, but Spirit misses a Q. It may not even matter as the heal was utilized as well. Mia going to go down for first blood. Oh, it's a cavalcade of mistakes here for APK as Fly. Also very low. And Keen investing the teleport is why Afreeca were able to make that one work. Spirit really getting picked up by his bootstraps by his team. Keeny not with too much HP to his name. Trigger now waiting. Black shield going to be there. It's going to keep him alive. Ixu here, just trying to do what he can to gain something. Gets a plate here on the top side of the map, but not much of a CS advantage.
Also, Ixu went double Doran's ring, which when you're against a mage, it doesn't really do anything. She should have just accepted the magic resistance, but we're seeing in this replay here some fancy footwork by both parties here. Keeny not able to get in there without committing himself to death as well. And then Jelly ends up picking up the first blood. You know that cat image from a long time ago, like the bloodthirsty cat? Very like fluffy.
Yeah, I think so.
It has like really nice eyes, but then the text is something like it's gonna murder you or something?
Yep.
Okay, that's the Yuumi.
Actually sounds like my cat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on there.
He is a lovely boy, but sometimes he just looks like, you know, he's an angry cat.
Okay. Not bad.
Well, Trigger's going to get himself a plate. And we've got lost chapters abound for the APK side. Fly also missing a chapter by the looks. And Jelly has the final one, so...
Oh yeah, do you think that the lost chapter is actually just Yuumi's book?
Yeah, that's why it's been lost, because Yuumi stole it. Yeah. Look at the cat. How that one works. Like if you lost your keys, probably the cat.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. Double S getting his Calibrum online. Flawless up here, clearing out vision, but can't clear the Rift Scuttle vision. And it looks like Shelly's not going to be an option that APK are looking for right now. Slight bit of damage onto Kaney right there as Mia doesn't get the Bone Skewer. Flawless just going to clear out vision, but no, fails to grab that control ward as Spirit has made his way around. Dragon Rage kick available, no flash. As Ixu gets himself into the river as well. Keen looking for a bit more. Fly in there, doesn't throw out the Shockwave, doesn't actually have it, used it just prior, actually didn't notice when he threw down that ult. I believe that's why Kaney's health bar is a little bit lower. Using it off to the side in the mid lane. Afreeca have successfully deterred APK from going for Shelly. Haven't found themselves any team fights just yet. Mia, deep water dive, looking for Fly. Bone Skewer misses. Good sidestep there from the Orianna. Now Spirit and Jelly are lying in wait here in this river. As okay, there's the kick into the wall. The mini stun's good as the Q gonna fly forward as well. The final chapter has been read. The wish utilized, but not enough. As oh my goodness, no! And there's the Dark Binding. Spirit safeguards to get out of the way. Ragnarok not enough. As Ixu gets Chaos Storm towards the top side. How did no one die?
Well, Soraka is a hell of a champion,
yeah.
Atlas. As yeah, she gave everyone a little
bit of a boost.
Yeah, a little bit of a boost, a little bit of a lifeline at the very end.
Yeah, we're gonna have a look at this one more time.
Look at
I love the mini stun.
Yep. Reactivates the Q, goes in, and
oh, we were waiting for one more auto from the kitty.
Says, "Please let me live." Olaf has no ultimate. It's amazing.
Yep. Nice work, Spirit. Keeping the spirits high. No pun intended. And Fly did pick up his blue buff. Double S down here with a couple of Qs left in his Calibrum. And still just keeping up with that APM. In fact, it allowed him to miss a cannon creep, which is not super great. He straight up misses that Q as well. Sometimes pressing buttons isn't always the best. As ow. See, this is what happens. You get tagged by stuff, and then there's chakrams, and then you're having a bad time.
Well, Rift Herald is going to be tagged here by APK, as they're going to manage to pick that up for themselves. And Ixu is doing a completely fine job right now. He's not really down in the CS department. He also has turret plates. His 2 on himself right now. And so this is definitely a dicey situation for Afreeca the longer that the game goes. And Mia coming in here.
Not going to get the stun, though, as you can see. Flawless. Oh, the Bone Skewer does come back. Gravity Field now on cooldown. As Flawless, what are you doing? Tanks up another turret shot as he walks on past, and Keen doesn't even have to flash against 3 people. Not going to give that necessarily to Keen outplaying, though, as Mia's also going to get interrupted. Good ward from Keen, spotting that out.
And it also looks like they're not even going to bother summoning the Rift Herald in top. Kick on
the kick flash
Keeney
into the Sonic Wave. Spirit's going to die because that turret just decided to target him on his way past. That's suboptimal, and actually probably going to mean that it's fine for Keeney to trade 1-for-1 in that instance.
Still will be a net gain, though, for Afreeca.
Yep.
450 versus 300 gold. And I didn't actually see if Ixu's cooldown was up for his R while that trade was going on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Kenny was probably dead. But yeah, I think might have helped. We'll see this one more time. And the ultimate
Soraka does
was
not have
up.
it, yeah. Kick goes in. Nice knockback there, and then Spirit was still holding turret aggro.
No, he broke turret aggro and then
Went back, yeah.
queued through turret aggro. Which is not what you want to do. He was trying to avoid that. It was right on the edge. You know. Sometimes you're not lucky. You know? These things happen.
APK now, they're going to be the ones to actually pick themselves up. The Ocean Dragon, and for how their team composition tends to conduct itself, it's not super terrible.
Not a bad one. Not a great Mountain Drake game, though, and that's going to be our soul for this one, for either side. There's not really any burly boys up in here. Flawless, I guess, is going to build some of those tanky stats.
Yeah, as well as Soraka does get
that's
tanky
true.
items.
Yep, you're going to build Spirit Visage, something like that.
Zanya's on Trigger as well.
Well, now it's got 3 members of Afreeca down here ready to die. It's going to be Spirit that goes down first. Double S is going to flash out. As that's the turret going to be picked up as well. APK with a good play bottom side. This control ward going to be cleared out as well, as we're going to get a double charge out of Shelly. And even Mia zoning Double S away from these minions. Teleport to come through from Trigger. He's just going to clear out this minion wave as the Dark Binding comes in. Turret angry against Kane, but not going to take too many shots there, as there's the Unleashed Power. Kaney, is he going to survive this one? Yes, he is. Fly as well. Last Dark Spear, not quite enough there, of course. Fully upgraded. Does a fair bit of damage, as you witnessed.
Yeah. And
getting his roams off.
This is starting to be very similar to game number 1, where APK, their team composition is very obnoxious, actually, when they're ahead.
Yeah.
The oppressiveness of the Soraka, as well as just having the Pike combined with the Morgana and the Syndra. They have insane amounts of lockdown. Obviously, the silence there to disrupt everything, but...
And you've also got Black Shield onto Flawless as well, who can Ragnarok to get out of CC, but even if he doesn't have his ult up, he can be relevant and can continue to stick to his targets if that Black Shield does come in. A lot of ways to break it, of course, on Afreeca's side, but if they do find members caught out of position, could certainly be an opportunity here as Keen. A couple of upgrades on this Hex Core so far. But now you can see the gold lead finally in APK's favor. It's never been that large. And we're still looking at Double S to be the carry here. Quite confused as to why the Afreeca Freecs did sub out Mystic after it was a great performance. Especially at the end of game number 1. Maybe just assuming that blue side will be better here for Double S.
I think that one of the other things is they maybe perceive APK to be weak, and so they can give Double S playtime.
Yeah.
We've seen lots of teams do that with subs in the past, even if it does end up coming back to bite them.
Indeed. Well, game 1 was almost back to bite them, but that was with their main roster. Slightly perplexing. Double Super Soakers done for Kaney and Trigger.
And it looks like Pike is going to run down to bottom with Syndra.
Well, Ixu going to get some of his health back here, still holding onto the Wish, as you can see. See how many Forbidden Books get built this game. It's not a bad option against the Soraka, as Keen's got a long way to run. No inner turret, remember, as there's the Chaos Storm. Keen trying to outplay it, but he's not going to be able to. But no extra money delivered, as Death from Below now on cooldown. Meanwhile, topside, Spirit also going to fall down. Bad meat worse. Here for Afreeca. Fly not offering too much. Prowling Projectile onto Trigger. This is so interesting to evaluate, though, because like you were talking about, there is no consistent damage for APK. And this is a time of the game where this composition is well and truly online. When you can run around, you can get these picks of people out of position because you're so mobile with things like the Pike that can really be that roaming death squad alongside the Olaf.
You have the roaming Pike, the Olaf that's able to be anywhere, the Soraka who's everywhere in Spirit. Given her R as Spirit, just face-checking a brush. Ends up being punished for it. Keen ends up being caught out here. He summons the Chaos Storm, uses the Q, flashes to try to get away. Fortunately, did not end up giving over a Pike kill.
Well, that's the thing. I actually think that flash is super worth it because it denies all that extra kill money.
Yes.
That he would have been picking up. So instead of 600, goes down to 3. Well, I guess 450 with the assists that would also be divvied out. But Pyke not getting any of them is also great news because he will be very important come later stages of the game for APK's composition. 24 seconds on the Mountain Drake, but Shirley going to be taken first here on APK's side. Double S there with his Sentry. AoE Sentry, I like Infernum Sentry. It's pretty cool.
All right, well, Shirley is going to be picked up as Fly is now dead.
He's very dead. I just chose to have a sip of my drink at the wrong time there, and then Fly was dead. As Shirley's going to come out as well and take down this outer turret in the mid lane. This is APK playing with gusto, understanding that their composition is certainly strong at this point, and they're able to leverage it, something that APK hasn't been able to do. And look, if you're struggling to play late game, why don't you just not play late game? As they are starting to snowball this game out of control. For Afreeca, Trigger doesn't find the Dark Binding though. The Double S will be able to get out of there.
And the other thing about having a 4,000 gold lead is these champions, their items are all really cheap, and they come online a lot faster than a typical team composition. So the 4,000 gold advantage at the top doesn't really represent how far ahead APK is right now as a byproduct of the fact that their items come online sooner than typical team compositions, and also just how effective these champions are when they're even, let alone ahead. So the Soraka, there's no real answer to her right now. Victor needs so much more time to scale up. You have a Black Cleaver being built on Lee Sin. The opponents don't build any armor, Atlas. I just want to
this is all about
let you know
that true damage that you can possibly stack towards.
It's 25%.
Yeah, it's not
so
really going to be helping, is it? And
let's,
it's also percent-based, so
it's all, yeah,
let's
let's take a look at how much value Lee Sin is getting. So 24% of 66, Atlas.
Not high.
16. What,
You divide it by 4. Which is, you know, not a lot. But it's over
16.5.
10, you know? Yeah.
There you go.
16.5 armor penetration with 5 stacks of Black Cleaver. Sounds brilliant to me.
That sounds like it's a U-moves. It's actually worse than
Oh dear, all 3 members of Afreeca are in a whole host of trouble. That's a hula hoop that comes out from Fly, but SS, he's trying to kite this one as Mia. Might be a target, but no. Nothing that the Aphelios can do. Ixu going down low as the cat didn't have anyone to sit on other than her book. And that is going to mean a dead Yuumi. APK, the roaming death squad, working out here. Now Afreeca, can they pick off Mia? Nope. Still had deep water dive, so the Pyke would have been all right. Death Ray coming through Kane, but just to try and delay some backs. Otherwise, not too much else going to be found.
Well, take a look at this replay. Strock ultimate comes out.
Meanwhile, Kane's dead.
I think he's tilted. There would be no reason for him to ever die in that spot. I know that we were checking out the replay, so it can't happen in live, but also him walking up to just QE a Pyke that can regen most of the HP, I imagine that he's very tilted. And Keen, outside of that Atrox game that he ended up having so far in LCK 2020, has had a lot of games that look like this.
Yeah, pretty subpar, to be honest. We're going to get this replay once again because it was rudely interrupted by Keen's death.
Everything just really comes out. Fly tries to make it back to safety as Double S not able to kill Mia right there, as all the heals just keep coming out from Soraka.
Yep.
The Unicorn killed the cat. Let's take a look at this. Why is Keen walking up? What the?
Okay. Well, yeah, that was stepping a little bit further forward.
나이스. 야, 오빠 나이스. 오빠 나이스.
뭐야, 이렇게.
아니네. 이게 오빠지. 그게
바텀-
오빠지.
바텀 한번 받아먹고 미드
오케이.
다시 붙고 이거 계속
All right, well, Ixu's a happy man. That's what we can glean from that one. We do have one Morellonomicon completed, which is actually pretty important in this particular game. And the Baron has been started 22 minutes in, and there is no one even near this on Afreeca's side. It's not going down the fastest because consistent damage, not what this composition is all that good at. The Dark Binding is going to go wide. Spirit might be able to make this one a 50-50. He comes on over. The Q is going to miss, and Flawless is going to be able to lock that one down. Now the team fight not even going to get opted in for, and Afreeca just had to watch the purple buff be claimed by APK with nothing to do about it.
Now they're just going to turn their sights to mid lane, but they're down 6,000 gold. Redemption completed on Soraka as well as Athene, so the healing is just going to be absolutely ginormous here.
Yeah. Not enormous or gigantic. Both
Ginormous,
of them
yeah.
at the same
Combined.
time.
Together at once.
Yeah, you guys understand that that is much worse. For the Afreeca side, 5-1-1 for Kaney. This Syndra is certainly plowing along. Rabbiden's Death Cap on the way. And Banshee's Veil has been built for quite some time. Trigger is Spooky Ghosts coming out here. And alongside the Glacial Augment, able to keep people in position for considerably large amounts of time, paired with his QN ultimate. Soul Shackles was actually pretty pivotal in the top lane fight, and works with this composition very nicely. One of those designer comps that our friend LS does like to talk about. So far, it is working.
Taking a look at the level. Heaney is almost up 3 levels over Fly.
Yeah.
And
over everyone else in the
yes,
game.
He is so far ahead. And, you know, if you're an APK fan, or if you've been following their last games, remember, they almost took a game off of Damwon.
Yeah, they did.
And they ended up getting CLG'd by Nuggery.
I mean, they should have won game 1 here as well. We should
They
be
should
looking
have
down
won
the
game
barrel
1,
of
right?
a 2-0 right here. That's how this should be going.
And so this is very akin to the Jin Air Revolt.
Yeah. So close and yet so far. They're winning until they lose every game.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Sky.
So, by my calculations here, even though they are up 6K, there's still the chance that they lose a team fight at 29 minutes.
Oh, is it 29 minutes? I actually, my orders were telling me a 32.5 minute.
I don't have the
team fight loss.
script today, unfortunately.
Ah, okay.
G-Sun a little lacking on getting that today.
Well, we'll see where it actually lands. This next inevitable team fight, you can see the Lich Bane was put on hold because Keen really wants a Morellonomicon for himself. And this game, I couldn't really blame him with the Soraka running around. Spirit not having the greatest performance so far on the Lee Sin, but he can still have that kick. Finish this game off. Of course, Ixu going to be a priority target for that one. And if they can soak, you know, their composition doesn't necessarily do it very well, but if they can soak the first salvo, APK don't have a whole lot more after that. You know, it's not like they have auto attacks to rely on from a late game carry.
Yeah. And the other thing about this right now is Double Mountain Dragon amplifying so much of those resistances. It's really basically negating the magic penetration that's being granted by the Morello.
Yeah, Flawless also successfully recognizing that Black Cleaver is not a good idea this game. Is what looks like going towards a Spirit Visage. As Double S, he has to cleanse. And Dark Binding going to go wide due to that, but he's still going to have to go home. Siege is on, but no more Baron available. And APK's Siege abilities are basically nil. They're probably going to be waiting for the next Baron before that one happens. Thankfully for them, 2 minutes only before that one does become available again. But look at this, Fly and Keen sharing experience underneath this turret is absolutely not what you want. There's Double S and Spirit here in the mid lane. Set up, bottom lane minions going
Syndra is so big.
She's huge. Spirit of Trouble. And there's the Moonlight Vigil. Ixu going to go down relatively low, but he is a Soraka, as now Kaney, a one-man army against this Afreeca squad. Redemption comes in. Wish still not needed. And APK back at it again.
And Ixu there, I mean, he still has his R. He still has Flash, he still has Barrier. This game is so inconceivably difficult.
Yeah, this is a roughie. We call this one a roughie.
Well,
if we talk about scaling, though, if both of these teams, right, get to 40 minutes on even footing, who wins the team fight?
with the way that the itemization and the Drakes are going right now, it really does look like APK.
Oh, wow. An AD carry not going to be able to save them from this one.
Aladios, I don't think he has enough.
Well, he's got a lot, so that's saying a lot.
Thank you, Alice, for that. Absolutely.
You're welcome. That's
You
called
are a
play-by-play
you're
analysis
a
right there.
bastion of knowledge. You
I
are
am.
honestly like.
Well, Keen is not very alive as the Bone Skewer does come back. Oh, Flash comes in there. Mia needed that one. I think to keep himself alive as the deep water dive not going to be enough. And the stopwatch had to be used there from Mia to keep him up. A little bit embarrassing there, but invests everything and they do take down King.
And so that's actually not a bad trade though for Keen. They
break a stopwatch.
Yeah, they break a stopwatch, they get a flash, they get an ignite, they get Sirakazar, although Sirakazar probably going to be up by the time the next team fight transpires, but still.
Keen is also 100 CS up. Ixu
that
sort of stopped doing the farming thing.
Doesn't matter, it's Soraka.
In
Isn't
fact,
that great?
a lot of minions have gone begging on the side of APK. The blue dots just haven't been punished. As Keen does have teleport, so this is going to be a 5v5. Speaking of which, teleport to come through from Trigger as Mia looking for the Bone Skewer, finds it on to Fly, who's now trying to run away, gets the dissonance. That's going to get him out of there. Few buttons now on cooldown, but it's only the heal from this Orianna. Took the phase rush as well, which I think was very helpful in getting him out of that one scot-free. Mia off to the side. Spirit gets a Q onto a siege minion. It's not really going to help them here as Double S, Calibrum at the ready. See whether this Aphelios can actually get some autos to work out during these team fights. Has Essence Reaver, Infinity Edge, so as far as bang for your buck 2 items, it is what you want, but still probably looking for a Runans before he's really going to be the orbital nuke cannon that we see so much.
15 seconds until Mountain Soul is up, and honestly, if you're APK, you could just laugh at Afreeca and go and get it, but does look like they are keen on trying to fight.
No pun intended. There's the Yuumi with the zoomies. Jumping on top of Spirit, keeping him alive. Q gonna land onto Flawless. Gets slowed down. They wanted to get a Ragnarok out, but they're not going to. As damn Jelly is like, it's a lot of healing. Yuumi still does a lot of healing. Especially with the cup completed. Athene's Unholy Grail. Jelly currently with the Lost Chapter and the Final Chapter, which is exactly what you want. Q lands onto Ixu, but he flashes onto Keen.
Oh,
they
into
want to
the
try
root.
and take him down, but doesn't have a stopwatch, doesn't have a life. And that is going to be Death from below helping grab that kill also, so even more money now available for APK. Keen not having a great game too. Here for Afreeca. And Flawless should just be able to grab the Mountain Soul by himself. The rest of APK there to play defense. As Mia, he had a reset. He wanted to use it before it was done. Wasn't actually able to make that one stick. As Afreeca, things are just going from bad to worse. They don't have the options to try and get back into this game. And they're just getting bled out time and time again.
They have 18% magic resistance and armor.
야, 천 남았다 이거. 야, 보자.
It says let's see if he's here, let's see if he's here, or let's try this.
봐줘.
Look at this.
Not the greatest
nice.
of ultis.
That's nice. And then right here, Silence into Mike, just ripping him right back into it. Now with the Mountain Soul as well, I mean, this game is really looking doomed.
Not great news. Keen has respawned, Flash Teleport, both available, no stopwatch, still in the back pocket of the Victor. He wants that as soon as possible. 3-item spike onto Fly. He does have his Void Staff now. Spooky Ghosts. And Blue Trinket comes in. This could be a team fight, but our Victor's still in the mid lane. Spirit wants to try and go for the 50-50. APK just looking to peel, just looking to turn. They are going to do that. Baron's going to regen. A lot of time being bought here as the inner turret now just taking damage. Lane manipulation not quite there on APK, although they do have pushing side lanes.
Now, the funny thing is that if Afreeca were to take a team fight right now in mid lane and then win it, they could end.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, it's what happened in game number 1.
a Void Staff also on the Orianna, so a bit of a savant with that item purchase against the enemy team composition.
The Victor went back. Inner turret was claimed. Now these minions as well going to be claimed. At least the experience there for Keen, who does have the final rank of his Chaos Storm. Now Mia going to break the Blast Cone. And APK, have they actually counted the blue trinkets? It looks like they have. Spirit's going to have to face check here as Kane Kaney straight into a Shockwave. Spirit now in position to try and steal this one away. The Syndra at half health is not what they want, although there is a Soraka. So maybe not too much of an issue. Spirit going to try and safeguard his way out. The Moonlight Vigil does come in. They're trying to corral them. As Double S looking for some autos. Will find Flawless to flash over. Double S Infernum now equipped and a lot of AoE damage now available. Flawless running for the hills, but he's split from his team. Trigger trying to come over and give him that Black Shield. Should be able to do so. Oh, the kickback. The Black Shield is a little bit too late, but Flawless has himself the health regen. Double S. Calibrum online, but Spirit, can he safeguard out? The answer is no, but it's a 1-for-1. Trigger going to go down as well as Spirit, as now Kaney trying to do the work. Double S here, trying to be the army that Afreeca needs. And Mia just able to dive over the wall. A much closer fight than most APK Prince fans would have wanted at this stage.
This is yet another example of what just happened in game number 1, where they're being out team fought. Kaney lost so much HP, drained a lot of Soraka's HP as well as a byproduct of it. Here they're all funneling into a narrow corridor trying to chase the Lee Sin. They line up for Yuumi. Wish comes out onto Soraka. An E cast by Ixu for absolutely no reason whatsoever. And the Soraka, honestly, a lot of the decision-making inside of the fight for E and Q cast, even right there, missing the Lee Sin with the E when he was in stasis.
Yeah.
Is very peculiar. Ixu even slow to cast the W on Kaney there.
Oh no, could it just be a face check? No, Flawless a little bit early with the undertow. Not sure what he was trying to throw it at there. They did throw down the ward.
And also,
spot out positioning.
Keen's build has been so staggered.
It's a very strange build, right?
He originally had Blasting Wand and Sheen wanting to eventually complete into Lichbane, but then I think that because of the dragons as well as the game state, he went Morello and now he went Void Stab just so that he has damage. So sitting on that Sheen all game long definitely feels bad, man.
Well, Spirit, he is going to be in there, but not able to steal away the Baron. Kick also not utilized, as now Afreeca, they want to try and find themselves a team fight. Their AoE damage, if they land it, is huge. But you can see APK able to corral, get them out of the way. Bone Skewer lands onto Double S. Crescendum and Infernum equipped, but you don't really want to be close range right now. As the Aphelios, now with the Baron buff, APK will break open the base, take the top lane inhibitor at least in this moment. Spirit going to be up in 10 seconds, a possible team fight to erupt after that. All ultimates available here. But a reset for APK will be pretty easy, and then 30 seconds until the Elder Drake, and possibly just the end of this game. 3 games for APK Prince against Afreeca. This is not what I was expecting the first series to be. The long series today was supposed to be our second one between our 2 former promoted teams. That was so close from Spirit. He in fact did get the smite off. Just a little bit too early.
Well,
all right.
Mia now coming in here on Double S, yeah.
Did have a bit of the CC, but not enough to actually lock down the Pike. Pesky Pike.
Now, Elder Dragon is going to be the only out that Afreeca has. I mentioned this in game number 1 when I suggested that Afreeca could just let them take it. Okay, well.
No, Fly most likely just dead. The Zoomies did help him for quite some time. And at least Jelly is going to survive through this one also. Double S trying to get some autos off. Moonshot connecting means that the Calibrum is very dangerous from very high range. Just not looking like enough here on Afreeca's side. Keen needs to be really careful. Kaney off to the back. Doesn't have ultimate just yet, but as soon as that comes back off, it feels like one of these Afreeca members is just straight up gonna die. He is so strong. Keen under the turret, does have Chaos Storm. And Afreeca, they've lost every inhibitor, and now it's ultimate turtle mode necessary. Infernum, the double S, will help clear minions. Pretty lucky Infernum. I feel like a lot of Aphelios players try to get through that ammo as quickly as possible. Fly respawns. Pick successful for APK, and now the Elder Drake should just be theirs. Double super creeps marching towards the Afreeca base, and Afreeca has to fight now or never. Now, APK, they recognize it. Keen flashes immediately, has a big shield as the Zoomies trying to come on through, but the first reset is in. The death from below, double S trying to do it with the crescendum, but can't quite as Spirit flashes his way out. Trigger now goes golden, Fly gets the command protect Q, misses from Spirit, so Trigger will survive, and that should be the ace as Jelly reads out the final chapter, but it's for himself and not for APK. We will need to go to a game number 3. APK win their first game in the LCK, and it's against the Afreeca Freecs. Not what anyone was expecting, but great to see from our newly promoted team, as they had to get everything apart from that very final Elder Drake in order to guarantee this victory, but it was much cleaner than game number 1, and it felt like they were winning the entirety of the game and held on to it.
And the other thing about this is you can just see what ended up happening. It's very akin to game number 1. Game number 2 this time, though, APK didn't let it get away from them, as interesting team composition ended up coming out with the win. Keen looking extremely tilted inside of this game, and I like seeing this. I like seeing unorthodox type of drafts clap the top teams for
I like the
refusing,
design of drafts, man.
yes,
Yeah.
for refusing to adapt to them or recognize them. And I like seeing Soraka win again, because I want to just see how much more stubborn Korea can be in the face of how oppressive, obnoxious, and just powerful the champion is, and yet every team's seeming refusal to either ban it or first pick it, despite its flexibility, and how versatile in defining it is in this meta.
Straight up. Oh, man. MVP selection is quite difficult this game. In my personal opinion, kind of want to give it to the coach for the draft.
I kind of just want to give it to Soraka. There were so many fights that were kept alive and enabled by her. See, but that's not giving it to the player.
That's giving it to the champion, but the player picked the champion, and that's probably the closest we can do to saying, you picked Soraka, therefore you won the game. So I'm with you on that one. I think Iksu deserves it. And he was also able to play out the laning phase that can be very difficult against Keen, just in general.
Mage came out. Didn't really matter in this team fight. Keen was keen to go next. Keen was probably actually FF15 in this game, in his mind, but unfortunately, team composition had weaknesses if APK did end up getting ahead. And so Afreeca was never on the even footing. Had they been on even footing, and had Dragons not been bolstering the resistances, you could sort of see in some of the team fights that the long range of the Victor and the Orianna does allow them ways to try to weather the opponent down and cause the Soraka to be very depleted. And it's only through those means can they really win a team fight. The Lee Sin, he is completely negligible. He can't take Qs in because the Soraka's just going to slow him, silence him. Morgana's going to lock him up. Pyke. It all just came down to Victor and Orianna, and they just couldn't do it in the face of all the resistances and just being behind.
Yeah. Great comp to come out from APK, shows the power of drafting here in the LCK. When it's utilized well, it works. And now APK, they have a chance to do it again and topple the Afreeca Freecs. We'll see if they can after the break.
내가 이거. 야 이거 끊지 마. 미끄러.
야, 니체. 야, 앞에 잡아.
리신.
야, 얘들아. 우리 하나도 개피긴 해. 우리 하나도 개피야. 우리 하나.
우리 하나. 나이스. 야 내가 이거 끌게.
아이 웹체 괜찮아 미드가
나 끝내.
그거지
오빠 너무 잘해.
이거지.